Which bad August or September, because I found one behind. Thank you to the graders, Joe and Steve, greeting everyone. And we'll thank Eric and Beth and Chris for all they do for the lodge, for the club. Jim Gundle for the website. And Pete and Mark and Mike Zoid for lining up our speakers. And Denny, would you like to give the invitation? Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. Would you join me in prayer? Oh, Holy Creator, thank you for all of the public servants that serve our community every day. Police officers, people holding a variety of offices, library leaders. Thank you for this chance to be together with these people, our business friends and associates. Bless our time and fellowship together. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Secretary's report.
We're at 62% today. Pretty high.
Okay, it's pretty good there. There won't be Sergeant at Arms report today because our Sergeant at Arms is not here. And I didn't know about it about 7:30 this morning, so. That's all I can say about that. Oh. Like Halloween's 57 days from now. I know y'all wondering.
That's Halloween now.
Yeah, I got that. Anybody got any happy bucks? Yes.
I bought my first house.
That's a big first purchase.
Property tax relief. Few happy bucks, apologize for missing several weeks. I would love to say it was work, it wasn't. I was out playing golf all these Fridays, first ever eagle 2 weeks ago. Wow. 14-foot putt to get it there. And a shout out to the city of Beavercreek Park and Rec. My wife and I are doing that pickleball league and we're having a blast, so. I'm a little sore, but appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to give kudos to David Chamboss, maybe you know, a fire chief, retired after 34 years of dedicated service to Beavercreek. A lot of what we do today is responsible. He has hands in that. To see him help out, give kudos. He still has kids in the network, so he'll be around. I'll get kudos to Chief David. Thank you.
Good on the line here. Our Sergeant at Arms last week mentioned that September is library card sign up month. So if any of you don't have a library card or you used to have a card and not sure where it is, come see me. I have some applications and I can make sure I get you a card and I'll have it ready for you next week.
All right, thank you. Oh.
Maybe I'm a week late, but my kids are back in school.
You're on vacation.
Amen.
Yeah.
So we had a great trip to Alaska in July, anniversary. So Althea Wyman did a great job putting that together for us. My youngest got his driver's license, so I am now done. So teenagers drive. So that happens when it's
But that'd be a great trip. Anybody else? Yeah.
I got a happy box because this week I'm going up to Lake Erie where my boat is. I no longer drive my boat. If anybody's interested in buying a good Sea Ray cutting cabin, I've got one for sale. But I'm going up with my granddaughter, her husband, and two great grandchildren, and we're gonna putz around in Putin Bay for a couple of days. So it should be a couple of days.
Jack, can you mention that you're
You just had your 91st birthday?
Yeah.
Well, come on. Anybody else have any happy birthday? Yeah,
Speaking of birthdays, I'm glad you mentioned that. I have a happy buck because today is my grandmother's 100th.
wow.
You're having a big party. It's just amazing every time I see it.
Yes. Wow. That's a big count, doesn't it? Somebody else have your hand on? No, okay. The ticket drawing. Uh-oh. 826288. Call it. There's one, don't you? 288, oh, 288. Right there. So we are looking for the 4 of hearts. This is brand new actually. Yeah.
The one, we should.
Okay, 4 hearts, huh?
What? Chuck one?
It's gonna be a light pot, so check one last, hot gross, not the 4 hearts. Say one.
Congratulations, Chuck.
So that's sincere. So, Peter, would you like to introduce our speaker?
I would be happy to.
He's a good player, listen. Now. Oh, yeah.
What is my honor today to introduce my friend, Carl Colon, Director of the Greene County Libraries. Carl has led our countywide library system since 2007, guiding a mission center on literacy, access, and community partnership. Under his leadership, the system's 7 community branches continue to innovate, educate, collaborate, and reach audiences outside the typical library 4 walls. This past summer, the Xenia Community Library reopened after a major renovation that expanded spaces for children and Spark Place. And if you've never used Spark Place, I would encourage everyone to go out and get a tour, because it is the most amazing part of the library, in my opinion. It's got 3D printers, sound booths, laser cutters, and people can just turn any of their ideas into a reality. Carl is also a visible advocate for public libraries across Ohio, serving on the Ohio Library Council's Government Relations Committee, and he champions early literacy, partnering locally to advance Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. So all of our children can be ready to learn and read. Please join me in welcoming my friend and amazing promoter of our libraries and Greene County, Carl here.
Well, Pete, thank you very much for that kind introduction. I want to start out real quick today. When I do the presentation a little differently than I've done before. You have offered me the honor of speaking here enough times that even though you've invited me back, I think you may have had enough. So we're going to hear from some different voices today. But I want to start out by shouting out some people who do a lot to serve our library community. I want to start by recognizing Ron Folker from the Greene County Public Library Board of Trustees. Ron is one of my bosses, so I get to be super nervous today. I also want to recognize Jonathan Hebrank, who is the treasurer of the Greene County Public Library Foundation Board. We'll talk a little bit about Dolly Parton's Imagination Library and the guy who keeps the money actually moving to take care of over 6,000 Greene County children, is Jonathan. So I want you to make that. And of course, joined as I am on all the occasions here at Beavercreek Rotary by Greene County Public Library Deputy Director Elizabeth Husak. So I thought we'd do something a little different. For those of you who have seen me here over the years, you know that it is my normal thing that I don't use multimedia. I don't have slides or presentations. But I thought I'd like to do something a little different today. You've heard from me a number of times about what we do. We talk about our impact, our statistics, all the stuff that you would expect to hear an executive director talk about. But what does this all actually mean? Because you can cite big numbers and stuff like that, but where it matters, where all of what we do in the library matters, is in the lived experience of our community. It's why our job, right, is as follows. Our job as librarians is first to listen. We're in the question answering business. We go to our community and we say, what's on your heart? What's on your mind? And how can we use the resources that you have entrusted us with to make sure that we're doing what you want and only what you want with the resources that you have entrusted to us? What we find is that when our community listens to itself, right? It's funny that I'm here to talk because my actual job is listening. But when our community listens to itself and finds out what's going on, when we gather, like we did last night with Dawn at the mayor's, first Thursdays, when we gather is the way we do here at Rotary, and we listen to one another, we learn what we need to do together. Every community already knows what it needs for its own success. The question is, do we listen to one another and make that happen? What we find is that when our community listens to and invests in its desire for success, big things happen. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Now, I'm going to tell you some stories about listening, investing, and then I'm going to let the folks talk to us, tell you their stories. So let's start with our first story. The year is 2020. The pandemic has just hit in its first rush. The schools are closed, and our children are desperately trying to find out whether they can learn from a computer screen. We learned as a nation later on the answer was no, that pre-K to 12 is a contact sport. It's about eyeball to eyeball. Beth Cusack and I were in the community together, and we were hearing from desperate parents. My kid is falling farther and farther behind. He can't learn from a screen. We had an opportunity, somewhat unexpectedly, to get a hold of federal money. Now, I'm a kid from rural Nebraska. Federal money scares me to death. But we had a chance to get a hold of some federal money. And Beth said to me, I know what we're going to do with that money. And I said, what? Well, you know how we're going around and hearing every parent tell us, every grandparent tell us that they're scared to death because the children are falling behind because they're not looking at their teachers at school. So yeah, because well, why don't we take the program that we had started in Fairborn with some community money that had come to us through the Hawkins family. We had a tutoring program in Fairborn, and she said, well, why don't we take that tutoring program and put it everywhere in Greene County at the same time? That way, our kids who want to can come in and learn face to face. If we have to put them all in masks, who cares? Let's do it. And I said, okay, that sounds good, but how? Now, for those of you who have worked with Elizabeth Cusack, as I have for the last 18 and a half years, her answer was, I'll take care of how to just get them away. And I said, okay, so here's what she did. She went to the Greene County Retired Teachers Association, our most proven resource for people who already want to help kids. And she said, will you come and teach our children? And the answer was, of course, well, yes. She went to our education state, Central State, and so forth. Will your students come and teach our kids? And the answer was yes. Now I'm going to start, I couldn't resist. I'm going to start with a video report that Beth sent to the state. And I'm going to let you hear a little bit in her voice. And then I'm going to share with you a video of an actual family impacted by this program. Now, I didn't cut these videos down. We're going to actually see the whole thing, because when you hear our children talking about what our investment in their success means to them, it means so much more than anything I can say to you. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Give me just a moment. That's good. Sorry, Steph, would you? But,
Fairwood Green County Public Library, located in Southwest Ohio. In 2021, the State Library of Ohio awarded us a $98,000 ARPA outreach grant through federal funds through the IMLS. This grant helped us launch Level Up, which is a tutoring program free for everyone, K through 12, at all 7 of our community libraries. And this was done at a time when students were struggling, families were struggling from loss of learning from the pandemic. The grant period was between November 2021 and August 2022. And during that time, we had over 500 tutoring sessions with over 1,900 attendees. This grant gave us the opportunity to provide access to the community on quality tutoring services. And we did this by building a network of tutors from retired teachers, educators from all over the Miami Valley, and education students from local universities, all dedicated to improving academic performance and self-confidence.
Or not. Okay. You get the idea. This was bad to report to the community, but on the next, go to the next slide. Thank you, Beth, so much. This is a community from an actual family involved. This is a video from an actual family involved in the program. Beth, would you go ahead?
I live in Bellbrook, Ohio, and I'm a mom of 5 girls. You know, when you have 5 kids, activities get expensive. You know, you have to multiply everything by 5. I'm so thankful for the library, and I think the people who work here really care about the community. It's been a great resource for our family and for the love that we have. Green County is also very grateful to ask the community for themselves, what do you want? You know, and then they will then do back to those people.
My favorite thing about the library is all of the events out there, and I love how there's games and everything.
I love all the little activities they do. They get animals from the Cincinnati Zoo and they come and they're dancing and they'll have movie nights, and especially for us because it's so easy to attend. And it's, you know, great to see friends from the community that are out there. Being a librarian is one of the coolest jobs. No other place in the community can offer so many services, all free. These after my kids were foster care, it's hard for them to process new information, especially like reading and math. Seems to be a big struggle. Yes. 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 Tutoring started, and that has been phenomenal.
I really like math and grew my math scores. They involve different learning styles. So like if you don't understand about school and you go here, they like do it a different way with us. I just really like it.
When they first started coming, they were younger and some of them were struggling with reading or math or whatever. But it was really nice to watch how they grew over the years and how they learned a lot.
It was so nice to have someone sit down with me and just help her focus on the reading. And you know, she loves reading now. Like she will read anything, and sometimes like, no, we have to do the next activity. Like you have to stop reading. Grace also is part of our library board. So she comes and she helps with cleaning and she helped us out at the reading for a little bit, finding something in the community for her to do that she's invested in and interested in. And, you know, I can kind of trust the team that's around her is so important. My kids just enjoy coming here. Like
Let's process that from Mom who adopted 5 children out of foster care. He's doing something incredible for our community. To be honest, I'm not going to be able to raise all 5 of those kids all alone. So when I talk about how we as a community choose to invest in the community, how we as a library just listen, we're often credited for innovating. I'm just going to be honest with you, we don't innovate. We listen and we say, oh, we're hearing from everybody that our kids need help. What do we, well, like librarians, we'll look at the books on the shelves. Who do we know that can help? Okay, retired teachers. Who do we know that can help? Okay, education students. This is what happens when this community, and we're so grateful for the investment of this community, invest in our kids. I can tell you that there have been over 10,000 in attendance now at our tutoring sessions. But what does that really look like? Well, it looks like that. Now, you can say, well, that's all very good, but that's from Bellbrook. Only Jonathan cares about that. Only Ron cares about. What about Beavercreek? So I'm going to tell you some stories of success now from Beavercreek. So I was just gonna almost one of the things that we listened to the community for over 10 years. Again, I know sometimes people go, wow, you're really innovative. Well, we didn't innovate. We listened until we couldn't take it anymore. We listened to the community about for over 10 years were our chambers of commerce, our business owners, Dayton Defense, and the Dayton Development Coalition saying to us, we are desperate for people who can work with their heads and their hands. Not heads, book smart is great, but it's not enough. Not just hands. Handy is great, but not enough. We need head and hands. And so we started this, what was then a small service called the Makerspace Smart Place that Pete alluded to. Well, and then it went nuts, and we had to make it bigger. And then it went nutser, and we had to make it bigger again. I'd love to say that we innovated that, but we didn't. We listened to that because that's what our community told us it needed. And when we did what, as your servants, as your public servants, when we did what the community told us to do, it went off like wildfire. So we're going to show you 2 success stories from Beavercreek having to do with Spark Place. And we'll start with the first one now. Thank you, Beth.
Abby, and at Beavercreek High School, I'm the intervention specialist. Specifically, I'm the transition coordinator for individuals with developmental disabilities. So I had students that said that they would be interested in working at the library. So I knew Kara and I got a hold of Kara and I just kept thinking, I just need her to say yes. I need you to just open the door. And she just absolutely immediately said, but that sounds great. And what do you need? Green County Library, the Spark Place, and Kara and Chris at the Spark Place, and all the staff that have supported us. We have been showered with love, of just people so easily opening their doors to us, saying, yeah, we would love you to come in and we will help you. We will help these individuals try and learn how to be in the community. Chris at the Spark Place was there to greet us and it helps the students work the machines and navigate questions and troubleshooting by themselves. My students are the nicest people in my community. We rely on our community to teach my students how to be adults, how to overcome frustrations, how to learn. They're able and smart.
We had the idea to build a makerspace inside the high school. The team visited Greene County Public Library Spark Place, which inspired them to develop specific aspects of our makerspace and become the foundation of Creek Industries. Spark Place in the Greene County Public Library have been ongoing inspirations to us. For Paige and our transition students, what started with inspiration at the library is now helping them get where they want to go.
Hard time reading captions from the back of a brief. Let me mention what was just said there. So Beavercreek schools use their experience at Spark Place to come up with the idea of working with their transition and development of disabled students to create a business. Think about that, to create a business, to get those kids working in the mainstream business world. The spiritware for Beavercreek schools is made by Creek Industries, which is a team that is using a makerspace created for developmentally disabled students at Beavercreek High School in cooperation with Green County Public Library. I'd love to tell you that we have a plan to do that. There was no plan. We just talked, we listened, and when our community said, would you help us? The answer is sure. And that's what happens. This is why I never left Green County after I came here over 18 years ago. It was because we listened to each other. We believe in each other. And we work together to create cooperative success. I'm not smart enough to do the good with which I'm credited, but I am absolutely head-bent determined that we will listen to you and serve you the way that you want to be served. And when that happens, this is what happens. And I have another, this one still makes my head spin. This is another story from Beavercreek.
But it's the new spine.
It's a, yes, please. Oh, the educator and a huge proponent to selling the upper science direction. Business is always challenging in that you're trying to find ways to be efficient, be cost effective. And we found out about this place called Spark Place, the Virginia Public Library.
We have built a relationship with them that has helped us grow in unexpected ways.
It's a saving place that really doesn't just inspire myself, my wife, your amazing work, but ultimately, classroom teacher, I just wanted to be that person that kids look to follow with learning science. And now it has become a thing where I travel across the country to make presentations at theaters and inspiring literally thousands of kids how to code. When we first started using the library in Spark Space, we came there with a purpose to create stickers, create banners. And from that, being in the library all the time at Spark Place, and every week bringing, doing things for the business, we met Kara, and Kara was amazing.
It was really fun to watch create new things and then to see how that was used. If I went to a live show or watched a YouTube special, I could say, I don't believe in that makerspace.
They help us find materials, different ways to make things better, improve our system, those types of things, be more efficient with the work we're doing in space. And from that relationship was another relationship that was born with the library system as a whole.
They had come in one day to, make some things here. And they started talking to me about this idea that they had, that we launched this program called Winter STEM. And they asked if we would potentially be interested in partnering. And I saw the potential for that to be a much bigger partnership than what just I and Makerspace could contribute. He talked with us about all the plans that he had and being connected with the PBS station. It sounded like it was going to be a great partnership and a great show. My portion of that was my department worked on coming up with the deliverable kits that kids can put together that are related to the topic of the episodes. I put together about 10 books with the annotations and then also some other information websites maybe that I knew of that we go along with that teachers might find helpful. It's a pretty educational program and like part of our mission, all kinds of literacy are worked and we love partnering with groups who are supporting that same mission. So they need to partner with them to help with, providing science education is perfect.
We won 2 Emmys, we've been nominated multiple times. It was just amazing to be able to take something we love and a passion we have and be able to transform that into something that reaches literally hundreds of millions of people across the country each year. So we're talking about right here in Beavercreek. Kevin lives in Beavercreek. So we're talking about a Beavercreek educator who is making science accessible on an international scale to build a workforce that we're gonna need in Greene County. Each of the episodes of Kev's Indian Winning show are featuring STEM businesses, many of them in Greene County, all of them from Miami Valley region. And all the kids who saw that saw Greene County Public Library and our featured spots, and then realized that Greene County, Ohio is someplace magical to come to be involved with science. Let's take this all together. We listened to scared parents. So we had tutors, which is now having children being adopted out of foster care, being taught how to read eyeball to eyeball by Greene County retired teachers. By the way, for those of you who don't know her, Linda Coulter is the spouse of Michael Coulter, who's the head of Pam Venture, massive STEM enterprise that we have here in the county. Because we listened to what you told us, we created a head and hand space, and the next thing we know, our developmentally disabled students are entrepreneurs. Greene County is winning Emmy awards, and we are on the map internationally as a place to be. Our success as a library is because we have the best bosses in the world. You tell us your dreams and your thoughts and your fears, and we try to turn them into actionalizing the resources that we have. It's why we're so proud to serve today. It's how we provide value to the community. People say we're leaders, and that's kind, but the truth is we're followers. We follow what we're told from a community that respects business, that respects hard work, and finds ways to use our core foundational values as a community to move all of us forward. Now we got just a couple more things to point to. This is also here in Beavercreek. We have Teen Fan Fest. Another thing that you told us was we really need something positive and safe for our teens to do, because there is just frankly so much threat out there on the horizon of those kids. So Kim Bouts, our youth services coordinator, who lives in Beavercreek, came up with the idea together with her team and our team of youth services people of having Teen Fan Fest. Well, I had the pleasure of going to Teen Fan Fest last year. For those of you who have never been in a confined space with 200 teenagers before, it's really something special. But it's an absolutely fantastic time, and we've had to grow and expand it again. It started inside the library, now we're adding tents, now we're adding things in the parking lot. Why? Because when you tell us, would you find something positive for them to do? We say yes. I'd love to tell you everything we try works perfectly, it doesn't. But then we find something that our kids say, yeah, this is what we wanted. And the idea for the Fan Fest was very much in response to what we were seeing our kids respond to. So we're very excited about that. It's not this weekend, obviously it's Popcorn Festival this weekend, but next weekend it'll be out of Beavercreek Library. Can we go to the next one? You all know the story of the Park Imagination Library. You were part of the heart of making it all happen. But at this point, and I know I just said you don't want to hear just about numbers, but I do want you to look at that number of 648,000 books delivered, right? Beavercreek Rotary was on the ground floor of making that happen. For those of you who might be available to join us on October 7th, we're having our fundraiser. Tickets are selling kind of fast. So I hope you'll consider coming out. Cedar Creek Winery is one unbelievably beautiful places in Greene County, and its event you certainly don't want to miss. You'll notice Beavercreek folks like Rifle Insurance, K4 Architecture, whose principal Rick Posey lives here in Beavercreek, CBD Advisors, Phillips's, and others are supporting this. Why? Because this is part of that same story. We listen, we work hard to provide tangible results. We ask the community how we're doing, and we continue the programs that you support. Go ahead. Just so that you know that we do things in other places than Beavercreek. We're having something that's kind of gone off spectacularly for us. There's nothing more fun than celebrating Halloween in Fairfield. If you haven't had a chance to get down there, during the festival to watch, Mike Foy really do his thing, it's an absolutely fantastic experience. We're now part of that, whole festival by, running the trivia game out there, and it's a really cool thing. And we can take credit, Greene County, I suppose this is the one thing we'll take credit for. We came up with the word fearborn. So we have rebranded Halloween in downtown Fairborn. It's very exciting. But now you see all the ideas going together. Listen to your neighbors, take them seriously, listen hard and ask yourself the question, how can we as your public servants make your concerns be addressed? And then we take the next step, and together with the blessing of this community, we really get to just places. And that is it from the slideshow. I thought you might enjoy hearing some other voices. It would be my privilege to take your questions.
Come behind me.
Eric, okay.
Go ahead. So how are you gonna deal with the apparent lack of interest in funding libraries both at the state and federal levels?
Well, thank you, Eric. Did everybody hear the question? The question is, how are we going to deal with the apparent lack of interest in funding libraries at the state level? And the answer is, and I can't go too far into it here, right? It's Rotary and all that. But our board of trustees is doing what we always do. This is what our whole talk is about. We're asking our local community to choose to take out the support that we're not seeing anymore as much from the state of Ohio. Don't get me wrong, we're very grateful to the state of Ohio for the support that you have. Many of you know, things being what they are, we haven't had anything for the Greene County Public Library since 2014. We're fierce about stretching it all. And if you'd like to know more about the board's request, you can go on afterwards, or you can catch Beth or me afterwards. We will do what servants do. We will ask our employers, our masters, will you please support the services you have asked for? And we're prayerfully hopeful that the community will choose to support. Ben?
Yeah, so, and I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this, but there's an issue on the ballot.
The property tax issue?
Well, isn't there a Greene County Library thing?
Oh, yes. Okay, so Beth has asked if I'm allowed to talk about the levy issue that's on the ballot. That's what I just mentioned.
Okay.
So long story short, it's the issue. What I'm allowed to share is factual information, and it's issue 2. The board of trustees, yes, has been blessed for the first time in 11 years for additional levy support for the community. The amount of support would come out to be about less than $3 a month for a home with a value of $100,000. Just like we listen, we learn to stretch a dollar and don't ask often, and we don't ask much because that is appropriate as public servants.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, the way I see it, and again, I travel to different communities, the way I see it, Greene County is innovative in the way that they're, they're changing the image of what you see, say, library is, right? And so, at a national level, I think there's a lot of libraries out there that are still in that traditional mode. Do you see a trend in this type of library innovation across the country, or do you think that's part of the reason that the federal government does see the value in the library?
That's a great question. I'm honestly unable to comment, literally unable to comment on what the federal government sees. So, we don't actually receive much funding from the federal government. Our principal sources of funding are the state of Ohio, and actually our largest source of funding is from locally here in Greene County. In terms of, are we different than our neighbors? Thank you. Each public library is a reflection of its local community. And I have the privilege of being a Greene County librarian. And so my principal focus isn't on how does somebody else serve their community? The question is, how do my team and I serve Greene County? That being said, how do we say this more? Realizing that I'm from rural Nebraska and I can actually hear my mother yelling at me in my head if I'm about to brag. let me say this. We have set a number of bars for our sister libraries to follow. But the funny thing is, the only way we've ever set those bars is the way that I just said, by listening to our community and doing what we're told. So, you all heard here before that the model that was created for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, together with this club, is now the model for the entire state of Ohio and 20 other states. That's not something you set out to do. That's not a plan. That's just something that happens because of how this community works together. I had the privilege of being with Dawn at one of the first Thursdays last night. And Dawn, and just to be honest, and sorry for the side story, but Dawn and I were talking to a woman who wants a human trafficking. And the question came up, how can we help you with what's going on in Greene County? And her eyes popped. She's like, you're asking me how you can help me? Because her experience is normally being asked, like, how can they do? No, the question is, how can we do more for you? And I said to Dawn, well, let's put them in touch with Violence Free Futures. Dawn said, you don't have to go on board. I'm like, oh, sorry. And the county is special, and we have, through how we've modeled being Greene County, set bars both throughout the state and nationally, and I am about that. I'm not responsible for it because I can only be as good as the community that I serve. Fran?
Just that, you all do so much, and I don't know that everyone understands all the little things you do, like the senior center, every other Tuesday from 2 to 3, people come from the library, and it's all tech tips.
Yep.
And seniors can come with their laptops and their, phones and stuff, and they have questions and trying to figure things out, and you got 2 experienced people there to help them. So it's so many little things like that that can make such a difference.
Thank you so much. That's actually, that's another great example of listening. We had so many folks coming into the library to ask us those questions that we realized there's a lot more folks that aren't getting into the library to ask those questions. So our question became, how do we get to where those people are? And it wasn't a big step from there to start serving at the senior center. Next thing you know, we got traffic out the door. That's something I'll say for Greene County. When you tell us what you want us to do, you mean it. And then we say yes, and we do it, and then you show up in huge piles. And that makes it so fun to do our job. The Dolly Parton Imagination Library, we were supposed to have 300 children in that program first year job. Yeah, we missed by an order of magnitude. 3,000 kids first year. And I went, worse. Well, why did that happen? Was it because we're so smart? Absolutely not. It happened because the community was serious when they said we're scared because we don't think our children are getting the help they need to be taught to read before kindergarten. So when you say, okay, here's some help, they go, good. Thank you. You listen. Nice job. And it really is that simple. Thank you for the question. Yes.
Since room are familiar with the old card catalogs and microfishes, we jumped in technology to, Google and online research, all this stuff. How does AI change the research and reading habits?
Really fascinating question. And I'm going to tip my hat to you because that is the first time anybody's asking that question. So forgive me, in a previous life, I had quite a bit of background to when he was working on the Department of Ed way back before the internet was a thing. The Department of Defense was the only group that had it. You got to remember what artificial intelligence is and what it isn't. Artificial intelligence is simply a very large scale pattern recognition piece of software. It is not in the normal sense intelligent. It's not going to change libraries too much because the dark art of being a librarian is knowing how to read a human being by being a human being. In terms of changing our reading habits, there is a lot of concern around the fact that information that sounds plausible that can be given to you by ChatGPT is complete fabrication. And it can be written in a tone by following a pattern of tone. And it can be written in a style that sounds completely plausible while at the same time being absolute nonsense. Based on my 26 years now, goodness, of being a public librarian, what we're going to see real quickly are teachers and parents coming in and going, because our kids will be fake learning, and that's dangerous. Beth had a comment.
Yeah, no, I just to ask, I've actually been in library longer than Carl. So I that shift cleanse for us as far as the type of questions that we received. And it becomes harder over time because when people are coming to us for help, they've already done the preliminary Google search and they're not getting the results they need. So when they're coming to us and they think they know what the question is, and our staff are trained and actually have master's degrees in information science to really solicit and get out what the question that they think they need versus what they really need, and how to get to that information. And I think that as a mother, seeing the research skills that my daughter has, and some of the students are taught, they're not taught to do the Boolean searches, et cetera, on how to really get to what they need. It's almost like, I'm not criticizing students, but it's almost laziness, you know, on doing the search. So I think it actually, as librarians, it makes our job harder.
Completely agree with that. Two thoughts that go along with that. You're probably aware that the state of Ohio has now banned cell phone use in schools. My kids hate it. I love it. There was also a piece that I haven't been reading online. I feel take a magazine called The Economist, but there's a piece of The Economist talking about how colleges at this point, because of the deluge of fraud coming through on exams as a result of artificial intelligence, are planning to go back to doing blue books. They're having blue books in colleges since apparently I was in college and I'm really feeling it. But it's fascinating to gauge the response. Some of you have seen me do, I have this little routine I do to try and explain what it's actually like to see the magic of a librarian in action and how quicker, just kind of to your point about artificial intelligence. AI cannot handle this transaction. There's this thing I wanted, it was on TV, radio, where did I see that? It was the kids, I think, wanted it, there was a thing and, ma'am, yes, don't you want the Frozen soundtrack? Yes. How to do it? There was a 3-year-old with an OLI next to ground. Because I'm from the same community, I know that was just rerun at the Dollar Theater. I'm listening to the kid go, you can only deal with a person by being a person. And that's the real trick to me, the worry about artificial intelligence. Beth is completely correct when she says it will make our jobs harder, but it will also make our jobs all the more important. True story. The first time the technology came along that the public said was going to destroy libraries, it was Gutenberg's movable type. Because you didn't need libraries anymore once people could buy books. Oops. So because libraries are a service, we're the service of listening and serving and connecting, our job will become more challenging, but it won't become less necessary. That's a fantastic question. Thank you so much.
One of the other resources that has not been mentioned, and one thing I can say, being a proud board member of the library system, is that us board members elected to kind of select different parts of the library where we feel we need to be more knowledgeable of. So I selected to go outbound, where a lot of times people say, well, people come into the library to get information or maybe go online. Well, one of the resources that the library has is a mobile system where they actually deliver product to the library in Greene County. And a couple of weeks ago, I was able to spend a day doing that with your employee that we got in the car, delivered to the outbound to people that are homebound.
Yep.
And cannot come to the library. And that was an eye opener for me because I was able to talk to them, engage with them, ask the value of the library. And they were so grateful because they could not come into the library. They were not able to maybe go online. And it was such a valuable service, the library. So thank you.
Thank you for that comment. So for those of you who haven't known, it's referring to our service where we deliver materials to folks who can't get to the library. And that's again one of those things. You listen to the community. Hey, I have a relative can't get to the library. The answer is, I mean, and you all heard me joke that you can run, but you can't hide from Green County Public Library. It doesn't matter if you can't get in, we'll see you. That's our job. Our job is to deliver the service. Yes, Aaron?
Can I use? Get,
Not so far, but you're the first person who said get in there. No, you'd be surprised. This is exactly how things get started.
South Miami, South Beach, like 40-something kids, 30 and 40-something kids. They use DoorDash for virtually everything. They needed a blender to make drinks. DoorDash went to CVS, picked one up.
Okay. No, but seriously, Eric, I have never considered the question before, but this is literally how things get started. The community goes, have you ever? We go, oh. You know, I don't want to go before Chuck.
Carl, how many library directors do we have in the state?
Oh, okay.
Got a unique background.
So Chuck is referring to the fact that I'm a former assistant attorney general for the state of Ohio. It's relatively unusual to have been a trial lawyer and a librarian, but I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Greene County Public Library Deputy Director Elizabeth Cusack has a master's of public administration. She and I have been together as a team for about 18 and a half years now. And we have worked hard to bring the breadth of our experience to make it work. And it's true that having a lawyer for boss is probably not always the most fun thing for my staff, but it actually keeps us out of trouble.
He's not the boss.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying, I'm coming over here. Amy, thank you so much. And I don't want to run over and we didn't have started, but you get on time. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, yes. Yeah, as a tradition, we've got a book here that we're donating to the library. And it is a love letter to my library. And Carl's already signed it. And I'd like to get a picture of him. Hold this book. Somebody take a picture for me?
I got you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. Mr. Social Media. Yeah, I was waiting for the comment. This was coming.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Always enjoyed listening
You're
to
gonna fine for that next year.
Carl talk about the library with his enthusiasm and the initiatives that they help. What's the right word?
Move forward.
Create.
Yeah, move forward on, and it's just interesting to hear. Next week's greeters are Beth Kuzak and David. And is there anything else we brought up for the club today?
Can I get reminded of when I signed up for the popcorn festival?
Yeah, Jim sent email out yesterday for.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody that next Friday is International Talk on the Pirate Day. I want to encourage everybody to study up on their pirate talk. It's also birthday mates.
are. Keep a lookout for programs coming up on the Facebook page and Beavercreekrotary.com. Is there anything else to come before the meeting? For the club? No? You all right with the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which stands one nation under God. This law. Yeah. And tomorrow, can you find out more? Tell me about me. Don't see you later. Well, very. Private capital. It's all. And like public expense. Yeah, church, this just, we have a lot of like, so they're not so much in the area, like, hey, here's our website, here's a link to your city, a bunch of resources from local banks to, big restaurants to stores that we get into, the idea is to try to point them all in a direction towards. Yeah, so we've been working on it for 3 years.